we'll go get started. Really appreciate you guys being here and covering our program as always. First out, I just want to start out by recognizing and just letting Franklin High School and Coach Darren Walker know we're praying for Emmanuel Lopez and his family, obviously in the tragic loss. Obviously Shea Smith, one of our quarterbacks, was teammates with Emmanuel and very close to the family. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Franklin High School and Coach Walker and everything he's enduring. I've been through that. Unfortunately, two separate occasions, losing a player, and it's indescribable pain. And we pray for Emmanuel's family right now, and we pray for Coach Walker and the entire Franklin High School community out there. Starting out with our Luke Laufenberg Hustle Award winners, guys that we thought played the game to our standard and fought really hard on the Blue Blaze. Cam Thomas continues to shine, playing extremely hard in all phases, from blocking and catching, and caught a critical third down for us. We think his motor just never stops. On the Orange Swarm, a guy who stood out and helped us in our run defensive efforts and had a heck of a game is Nate Diamond. I think he recorded like 9 or 10 tackles, but his effort on tape, when we blitzed him, when we dropped him in coverage, he played extremely fast and physical, so I was really excited about that. And then on defense, our death dealers unit, our kickoff unit has been a unit each week that we feel like has not performed to the standard, and we really challenged them this week in practice. We did a live period, and it showed up in the game. We pinned them inside the 20 twice. We had a touchback on one, but they fair caught it on the third one, and pinned them inside the 20 2 times to give our defense great starting field position. Lance Russell was paramount in that. Lance is gonna win that Luke Laufenberg Defensive Award for his efforts running down on kickoff, Side shout out there to Josiah Allen. He had a heck of a, he did a heck of a job on that, on one of those. One, Kyron Duhon, a true freshman defensive lineman. We asked to not only did he play, we felt outstanding on defense. He had a critical third down stop, but he also ran down on kickoff. He deserves a kind of a shout out as well in that. And then our Devo players of the week, they helped us get ready on the blue offense. Caden Harris, he was the A back for them, giving our defense a look. The option back did a great job. Orange defense, Chase Bibler on the D line. Liberty's D line, extremely physical. One of the better D lines in this league and in the country. And Chase did a great job. Give us the defense again, man. This guy shows up, finding his way on this Devo player of the week list. Trace Meadows, very intentional about what he does. I really appreciate Trace, not only his effort but also his intentionality, trying to give us the accurate look of exactly what that linebacker or what that guy on defense is going to do. Felt like we cleaned the penalties up. That was a huge win. I think in our program right now, everything that we do, something I talk to the staff about and to our players about, is that everything that we do, from position meetings to team meetings to staff meetings to a practice to whatever, winning is a habit, and we have to win every single one of those meetings, and eventually that's going to culminate to the scoreboard flipping. And we're very, I was very, very proud of our football team. There's no moral victories. We understand that. But I am very, very proud of this football team. I told them after the game, for the way that they responded from the Southern Utah game and the way they approached practice, the way they came out and prepared. And, it's a 14-10 ball game going deep into the third quarter. And we had every chance to win it. We had every chance to take over the lead, and Liberty made more plays than we did down the stretch. Our defensive staff and our defense really kept us in the game and played outstanding. Giving up 187 yards, 190 yards rushing, it definitely isn't our standard. But when you play an option attack like Liberty, in the past 17 games, we held them to the second fewest rushing yards behind Oregon, who held them to 168. We held them to 187. And I thought our defense played outstanding in the front seven in order to give us a chance. We got to open field tackle better. We got to play situational football better on offense and convert third downs. Had too many miscues, and Liberty's a great football team, and you make those miscues late in games, they're going to find a way to win. But I am extremely proud of this football team and the growth that I'm seeing in them. I'm seeing a lot of growth. I'm seeing a lot of intentionality. That was the word of the week last week. Seeing a lot of intention, seeing a lot of execution that hasn't occurred in the first 2 weeks. And so it's all about us every single week, continue to get better, continuing to grow. And, I'm really excited to get back and prepare this week with our team.
Let's do a scouting report on Colorado State.
Yeah, so Colorado State, got a lot of momentum right now, going to the Pac-12. They just came off the Rocky Mountain Showdown. No, it didn't go their way, but they got a lot of firepower. They got a quarterback who's as good as any. He can thread the needle. He can he can push it downtown. He's very accurate. I think the running back is a really talented player. We all know about Horton. I know he was banged up last week. We're going to prepare that he's going to play, and I think he's one of the best receivers in the country. Extremely great route runner. Definitely, certainly, on everybody's NFL radar. And then defensively, you look at them, one high defense. Their safeties, their two safeties remind me of a version of number 2 from Nebraska. Very physical, very smart, and they run really well. Their linebacker play is extremely physical, and they're really, the thing that stands out to me defensively, they're really long. We know, that they've had, I think the Northern Colorado game, I don't know, so probably had 30,000 people there, somewhere around there. They had 40,000 last week. It's going to be a great environment. It's going to be a challenge, and I think they're a really good football team, very well coached.
Scoring offense and just red zone offensive efficiency to try to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at right there, and where do you hope to be here in the coming weeks?
Yeah, certainly hope to score more. And after going back looking at the film, Adrian, looked at the red zone, look at all the red zone calls, looked at all the third down calls, and there are very few calls that we had down there where we didn't have a missed assignment. And again, it goes back to I've got to do a great job of finding that sweet spot of the volume that we can handle game plan wise down in those areas. And we certainly did not handle that in the line of fire all week long. Those plays we felt good about. They were crisp. They were thorough. On Wednesday we repped third downs. We had 30 reps of third downs against the defense, and then we had another 29 on Friday. That's the most I've ever repped in a week of just third downs. And so for us to come out and have those lapses in execution, it was disappointing, and we got to be better there. And we got to look at other areas where we could pull back from so that we can execute in those areas. But a very little of it was what Liberty did to us, and it was self-inflicted. We had a route down there in the red zone that is going to hit, but we MA on it. We don't have communication, and we have a misassignment. Formationally, we lined up wrong a few times. And so I got to get back and do a great job of giving these guys a plan that, man, they can 100,000% execute and confident and be smooth with it. But that's certainly going to be an area of focus is our situational football.
Yeah, Skylar had 43 passing attempts last game. Obviously, you guys were trailing for a good part of it, and a little bit has to do with that. But do you have an ideal range of how many attempts you want to be having in a game, or is it just flow?
It's flow, and to your point, I know we got down in that first half. I think he attempted 24, 25, by halftime. But I would even say before they got the lead, he probably attempted 10 to 12. Our plan was to throw it around, because we felt like we're starting a true freshman at right tackle, Luka Matamoros, who played his absolute tail off, and I was very proud of. But he's playing against two bookends that are as good as anyone in this league, and so we felt like we needed to get the ball out of Skylar's hands fast, get it to our playmakers in space, and then go run the football. And Javon still had about 15, 16 carries. Would like to get him a little more. Flow of the game, though, kind of dictates that. But no, I didn't feel like it was too many pass attempts, too less. There's not really a number. I just want to be a balanced attack where we're effectively attacking people through the air and on the ground. And right now there's a little bit of an imbalance. I want to be better running the football with that. But I thought being able to get the ball out to our playmakers was going to be an advantage for us.
How would you assess Skylar's play just off that?
So obviously everybody, the two interceptions, disappointing. One of those is a bad play call, but he can make a better decision on it. They had shown on third downs to roll those corners up, and I called a bad concept into it. They nickel fired in the B gap. He did a great job getting around it, and that, it was a sprint out play, and he did a great job of getting around it, but he didn't see, he was too concerned with trying to get away from this guy, and he'd already beat him, and he lost the corner right there. But I got to put him in a better play call scenario, a young quarterback. That starts with me, number one. The second one, he's got the right idea down the seam. It's the right ball. It's the right read, but the wrong ball. We talk about a 1-2 and a 3 ball. 1 ball is, I'm trying to throw it through your face, right? 2 ball, drop it in the bucket. 3 ball, max air, air it out. We threw that thing in the seam like a 3 ball. That free safety all week long we talked about. Their free safeties cover ground, and if you leave it over the middle, they're going to get it. So he had the right idea, just the wrong kind of ball. The thing that I'll say about Scott that I learned a lot about is I learned a lot about his toughness. You know, I think you take those 2 interceptions away, I think he plays a relatively clean game. Now, there's a protection error we got to be better at, and there's also a couple of errors when we pull the football. We got to trust our speed to circle the defense instead of pulling up and allowing them, to get us for a TFL. So there's a few things I want to clean up with him, but I think the thing that stood out to me the biggest that gives me so much confidence is his toughness. You know, he took a shot on our sideline, a big-time shot, gets his tail back up, goes back the next play, steps up in the pocket, delivers that strike to Kenny on a play that, honestly, Kenny was a route that we liked, and Kenny adjusted it, and he had to step up, and he had to find Kenny, make that adjustment, and threw a dot to Kenny, and Kenny did the rest. But I was really impressed with his toughness, all night long. And his ability on third downs to extend plays gave us a chance, to convert some of those. And so I was really proud of him, and I think he's growing before our eyes every single day and every play.
Back to the running game for a second. What's it going to take just to try and get the team to get more carries or more yards per carry and just give the passing game an opportunity to maybe capitalize a little bit more as the run really takes advantage on the field?
Yeah, Cap, no doubt. Number one, it starts with us. It kind of goes by what I was telling Adrian. We got to look at how much run game we have in and the volume. I think that we, may have, underestimated, how young we are up front and inexperienced we are up front. We're talented, but we're inexperienced, so we can't put too much on those guys to where they're thinking and they're not playing fast. There was if you look early on, we ran on the first drive, the second play. They shanked the punt. We throw a pass to Cam, and then we run the ball. Watch our offensive line fire off the ball in that play, and it was about an 8 or 9 yard run. I showed the team that last night. That was one of the 12 clips that I showed last night of like, hey, this is the standard, and look how close we are, guys. The O-line coming off the ball, Otis Pitts, literally pancakes the 3 technique and just gets massive movement. We need our guys playing with that amount of confidence every run play. And that starts with us as coaches narrowing in, okay, we're going to major in these 1 to 2, 3 runs and let it eat. And I think that's where it starts. And then secondly, being able to understand like, hey, you know what, a 4 to 5 yard run is a good thing. We don't have to go for broke and have an 18, 20 yard run every play. Let's stay ahead of schedule and take those 4 to 5 yards every time.
I had something like that. Oh, last week you said the big focus was third downs. What's going to be the focus this week, and what's the word of this week?
Yeah, so the word of this week is precision, and the players don't even know that yet. So maybe, I'll see how many of them actually watch this. See if they can tell me in the morning. I'm going to give it to them in the morning, but it's about precision. Being precise in everything that we do. Again, this team has the fight. They have the energy. Brett, I go back in the locker room and after the game, and man, you got dudes just freaking, tearing up, sobbing because they truly believe, regardless of what anyone in this room or anyone outside our program believes. They believe they were going to walk in and beat Liberty, and I believed it too. And you know what? They fought their tails off, and I'll go to war with this team any day because I absolutely love their approach. They're not letting outside circumstances or external factors dictate their efforts. They see it, and as a head coach, I know I'm judged on the end result, the wins, the losses, and that's because that's easy. I kind of talked to them about after the game about this. It's easy. Okay, you either won or you lost. That's his record as a head coach. He's a winner, he's a loser, right? The reality is in sports and in organizations and in your process, you have to see, okay, what is the week-to-week progression? And since Nebraska, this team has only gotten better. And to go into a hostile environment and to compete at the level we competed at, we had every chance to win that game, man. And it's 14-10 with 2 minutes. I think they scored to go up 21-10 with like around 2 or 3 minutes, in the third quarter, and we're battling. We're in a dogfight. And we felt like at halftime, we were in a fight. So but it goes back to that word precision. We were intentional last week with our work. Okay, we were dialed into, okay, we can't just, play hard and play with great energy. We got to play with great focus. And now it's about hitting that mark every time. There's a difference between being accurate and precise. Accurate is, hey, I'm throwing that ball in the vicinity every time. Precision is I'm hitting that same spot every time, I'm taking that step exactly right every time. And so I look forward to having some precise practices this week. And the focus point is, going to go back to, for us, the run game on offense and situational football on offense. We're going to continue to harp that third downs and red zone execution. And then defensively, tackling in the open space. I thought we did a great job with the run game. really making Salter earn, and Cooley, I know he got injured and everything, but making those guys earn every yard. But what we got to be better at is open field tackling when they throw hitches, smokes. We got to go rally and get that on the ground.
After the game, Jimmy Chadwell talked about his postgame, how he didn't understand why the timeout was called late in the game. He questioned it. He talked about how it frustrated him, frustrated his coaches.
Yeah.
Do those kind of comments at all bother you when you start to look at coaches that are starting to maybe question decisions that are being made during the games?
No, not at all. I don't answer to Jamie Chadwell or any other coach out there. I answer to myself and Jim Center, my bosses, and this program. So I could care less what his opinion is on that. I thought it was all class though, him kneeling the ball. I thought that was all class, and I wrote him a letter this morning and said that in there. That was a very classy move, because I think another part of that question was they were, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody kind of told me about it. It wasn't I didn't hear it, but they were asking him why he kneeled the ball, and he's been on the other side of that, I called the timeout, same reason why I called it at Nebraska. I feel like these guys were about to try to tack one on, and we're going to get our defense ready to get a big-time stop. And we kept saying in the huddle, this play defines the culture of our program. And I felt like it was an opportunity to get the defense over there rallied up. And, man, we make a big-time stand right there. That's a big-time victory, within our culture. And it kind of goes back, Cap, what I talked about. We're trying to win everything we do right now. We're trying to win the classroom. We're trying to win, hey, tomorrow stretch, period one. We're trying to win period one. I know we have an opponent this week, but it's about the UTEP Miners winning every little thing, and that becomes a habit, and then that scoreboard's going to flip.
Last question is this. Any thoughts on what's going on right now with the Mountain West and the PAC, and how we've seen 4 teams now go and join the PAC-2, and how we could see more perhaps, and more reshuffling as far as just a group of 5 is concerned?
Yeah, it's super interesting, right? To be honest with you, my head's buried in the sand right now about how to get a first down and how to keep touchdowns off the board on defense. And so I think it's very interesting, though. I think it creates this landscape of never-ending change within college football. You don't know who from our conference is going to end up getting plucked by a Power 5 school, and then you just don't know. It's wild land that we live in right now, wild world we live in, and certainly changes on the horizon for a lot of G5 schools and just, in general. But as far as how that affects UTEP, not really sure what that holds for the future. We're just focused on one game at a time and trying to be the best version of ourselves we can right now.
Yeah, real quick, Coach. It's obviously your last non-conference game until that meeting with Tennessee. Just
Yeah.
how important is it to head into a full conference league with someone?
Oh, huge, 100%. It's huge. We're going in a CUSA play, for the next 7-8 weeks after this, and it's critical to go on the road and have a great performance against a really good Colorado State team. And I can't speak highly enough of our players' approach. I've seen it, go south where guys, they don't show up on time, they don't come prepared. When you're not winning, right? And these guys, we didn't have one player in this program show up late yesterday. We got back at 3 a.m. Sunday morning, essentially. We come back, we bring them in, roughly, 12, 14 hours later, whatever it was, right? And we go to team meetings, we go to WeFence meetings, we go to weights, we go to practice last night, and we don't have anybody late. We got guys prepared, ready to take notes, ready to learn, ready to grow, and that's what we have to focus on right now is our growth daily and weekly. So I couldn't be more proud of our players. Our coaches have done a great job, man, loving on our guys and encouraging them, inspiring them. Like I told you, I showed a 12-play cut-up yesterday of the standard. This is the standard of how from offense to defense to WeFence, and it was 12 plays of guys giving fanatical effort, being intentional with their steps, their footwork, and execution. And it's right. They can see it. And so you talk about momentum. I know on the outside world, momentum is defined as winning, winning a ball game, which we're going to fight to do every single week. But also, too, our players, see. It's one thing, you're getting shellacked and you don't see any effort and you don't see anybody, fighting. Our players see each side of the ball fighting and getting better, and they can feel it, And I felt like when we went on the field last night, you could feel like guys are like they're ready to get back on that plane and go to Fort Collins and go play a football game. Obviously, we got to have a great week of prep, but I love the hunger to win that I see in our football team right now. And we're going to keep growing, we're going to keep learning, and we're going to keep getting better.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it very much. Thank y'all.